Hey scholars, it's Miss Marnon. So today we're going to talk about standard 7.EE.1, which is all about simplifying expressions and combining like terms. So we're talking about like terms. You need to know what is a like term, and that means they have the same variables. And that's just like the letter. So like, for example, we use X, Y, N, P, all those different letters. They need to make sure they have the same ones. So for example, if I had the expression, let's do 3 plus 4x plus 7 minus 2x. The like terms are the 4x and this minus 2x, and we all know that Miss Marnon likes to change it from subtracting a positive to adding a negative. So if we look at our like terms here, I can put my x's with my x's, and then my constants with my constants, or my non-x's with my non-x's. So because it's adding between each term, that would mean we would just add it. So the 3 plus 7 is 10, plus the 4 and the negative 2 is still just positive 2x. So when we're adding, we're just making sure we're adding the coefficients, the number in front, and we can only combine them if they have the same letter. I can't combine this 10 plus this 2x. So if you do type something like this in your calculator, don't type x on your calculator. Do not type x on your calculator. Do not type x on your calculator. It's going to just say 0. Unless you told x what it is, it's going to say 0. We don't know what x is, so we are not typing it on our calculator. You can type 4 plus negative 2 in your calculator if you don't know what it is. Then you find out 4 plus negative 2 is 2, and then you put the x in by yourself on your paper. Do not type x on your calculator when doing these problems. So that's when we can add. The other way we've combined like terms is also when we have something like 3 times 6y. We can just multiply those coefficients. So 3 times 6y is 18y. So you can kind of get a combination of these things with these adding and multiplying, and have lots of terms to kind of combine and simplify. The other thing that you can have is the distributive property. That's when you're multiplying something by a group, and we know it's a group with the parentheses. So that's like when we have 3 times 2x plus 4. A lot of us like to use area models for that. And we know it's 3 times 2x plus 4. And then we can multiply to get the inside, right? Or some of you like to just do it algebraically, where we do 3 times 2x plus 3 times 4. Either way, we get 6x plus 12. On the flip side, instead of distributive property, you can do factoring to get what multiplies to this. So that would be like going backwards. So that means they give you the 6x plus 12, and you need to find out what's on the outside. So a good example of this would be if I had factor 8x plus 16. So they might say which expression is equivalent to, and give you something like 8x plus 16, and then you see a lot of choices. It's a multiple choice question with parentheses. You can distribute all of those parentheses choices to see if it gets 8x plus 16, or you can factor this. We always use the GCF, which we can type on our calculator. You can see that in the algebra review lesson if you need to go back and look at that typing on the calculator. The GCF of this is 8. And then you can actually fill out your area model, where you know 8 is in front, and then the inside is the 8x plus 16, and then figure out what would multiply to get the inside. And you can do that by dividing. So 8 divided by 8 is just 1x, or you could just say even just x. And then 16 divided by 8 is 2. So if we were to write this out, it would be 8 times x plus 2. Would be one of the choices we could be looking for in that multiple choice question. So it's going to depend on what kind of expression you get, how you're going to simplify to see if it's equivalent. Something you can do to test. So if they give you choices of expressions and ask which one is equivalent, this is when you can pick an x and substitute it in for the original expression, and then each of the choices to see which ones it matches. So thinking back to when we did equivalent expressions and how we were able to test x equals 3 in each expression and see if it's the same. If you have questions on learning how to do that calculator skill, reach out to me, Miss Eastman, Miss Figueroa, Mr. Jordan, Miss Kitching, whoever you need to reach out to, and we can talk more about that calculator skill. But that is it for standard 7.EE.1.